busy Saturday morning. It's my privilege to give brief introduction to Dr. Subramanian Swamy, though he does not need any formal introduction. His academic background is Masters in Statistics from Indian Statistics Institute and PhD in Economics from Harvard. He was Professor of Economics, IIT Delhi, and also taught courses at Harvard. Political background. He was MP, both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, in the 70s, 80s and 90s. He was Cabinet Minister for Commerce, Law and Justice in the early 90s. During this period, he created the blueprint for economic reforms in India, which was later carried out by then Finance Minister Manmohan Singh ji and Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao. He is the President of Janata Party since 1989. I'm going to talk a little bit about his current activities and passion in three areas. His conviction, commitment to market economy, to further democracy and transparency in government are quite well known, especially his anti-corruption crusades in 2G spectrum, campaign against black money, and also electronic voting machines are well known. Also, second point, he has written extensively on foreign affairs, including India-China, India-Israel, India-Pakistan relations. The last point, what I would like to highlight is he has been a champion for Hindu Dharma, Hindu causes. After the 2011 Mumbai bombings, he wrote by now a famous article, How to Wipe Out Islamic Terror. Thought-provoking, with novel ideas, at times controversial, created quite an uproar in the media. Some of his recent contributions towards Hindu causes, Hindu Dharma, saved Ramasetu from destruction, fought against the introduction of Islamic banking in the state of Kerala, opened Ayodhya temple for Hindu worship, and he is leading fight to repeal Hindu Endowment Act and bring temple management back into the hands of Hindus. We are looking forward to Dr. Swamy's talk at this critical juncture for India. Selection of the topic is also quite timely. Bharat at crossroads. What can we Indian Americans do, especially with elections fast approaching? Let's give a hearty Atlanta welcome to Dr. Swamy.
Thank you very much. Mr. President Dilbhai Shah. Friends, the topic given to me is Bharat at crossroads. What can we do, including those of you who are sitting here? Well, I'm not sure that we are at crossroads, but we are certainly at a T-junction. Take a right turn and that's the end of the country. Or rather, I should say, take a left turn and then you're in the end of the country. Right turn is okay, left is not okay. That kind of situation we have today. Before I get to the reason why we reached this kind of a T-junction, let me say that don't forget that for centuries this country was world number one as an economic power, leave alone military power. We did not conquer any country, but our influence spread far and wide, particularly in Asia. And the impact of it you can see even today in China, in Cambodia, in Vietnam, Indonesia, and all of the rest of Asia. We haven't really explored what about Latin America and Americas before Columbus came. But I'm saying that this glorious tradition is of India. Don't you ever forget that. When you are in a moment of, shall I say, despondency about the future of India, a country which has been for centuries such a tremendous civilization, can recover at any time. How we came to this position is another matter, but we have made mistakes since 1947, which we, the moment we rectify those mistakes, immediate changes you can see. 47, Jawaharlal Nehru became Prime Minister, and in 1950 he introduced the Soviet economic model. The Soviet economic model was most unsuited to India because it is based on the principle that you squeeze agriculture and get the resources out and finance industrialization. India's agriculture had already been bled bone dry by the British. And therefore to squeeze agriculture was a big mistake, led to food shortage. We had to beg from the Americans in mid-60s, and the Americans began writing books about how India is going to end up with food riots and cannibalism and so on and so forth. If you want to see such a book, go to Google and type World Famine 1975 by two brothers, Paddock and Paddock, both officials of the US State Department. There they predicted by 1975 there will be a world famine and India is a bottomless pit. Even if the whole world's food grains were given to India, it won't be sufficient. And therefore the best thing is to abandon India and let it find its own fate, which he said would be food riots, cannibalism. People will cannibalize each other. That is the kind of thing that's written a book by State Department officials. This was in 1965. By 1968, because we are stung by this crisis, Green Revolution came. By 1975, we were exporting food abroad. Everybody forgot the book, everybody forgot all the dire predictions, and now it is taken, now we have a situation where our food is rotting in the godowns. So India changed that. Similarly, we were told there is a Hindu rate of growth, 3.5% per year. India can't grow faster than that. Actually, it was not a Hindu rate of growth, it was a communist rate of growth. And unfortunately, the Hindus always bear the brunt of anything that goes wrong in India. So the Hindus got a bad name that this is a Hindu rate of growth, there is a slow slough, etc. In 1990, when I became minister, we had a huge crisis, foreign exchange crisis, and therefore to solve that, since we were an alternative government, a Janata government, we decided to bring in economic reforms, but didn't last long enough to implement it. But the successor government of Mr. Narasimha Rao, in which government also I was holding a ministerial position despite being of a separate party, namely the Janata Party. Mr. Narasimha Rao wanted my counsel, so he found a way to set up a commission on GATT and gave me cabinet rank. And Narasimha Rao, to him goes the credit for having implemented the economic reforms, and our growth rate went from 3.5% to 9%, something which never could have been imagined about India. So, there is no problem that India has not solved. We keep hearing this problem, that problem, but there is no problem that India is not capable of solving. And therefore, while I am going to point out certain negative trends, there are solutions to it, and there are some things that you can do about it. The first thing is that I would like to say that there are 5 trends that the country is witnessing today. Three of them are dangerous. Two of them are a great potential for this country, for India. The first is, most dangerous one, is corruption. And those of you who are following Indian news, you would know that one international body of lawyers and journalists have now released addresses of those who have secret bank accounts in the tax havens. And it has just come out, so you will see this is a developing story. And there are addresses where you can identify people. So, the total amount of money that Indians have abroad is $1.5 trillion. Even the GDP is not $1.5 trillion yet. $1.5 trillion, if they come back to India, what a difference it will make. And they can be brought back. There are methods of doing so. But corruption is a multi-dimensional disease for India. It's not a question of I taking money and becoming illegally rich, misusing my position. The impact of this money on the economy is something that you must know. First of all, because of corruption, you get substandard goods. You can get your food articles adulterated. There's nothing you can do because of corruption, nobody gets prosecuted. If you have a road, the man fudges the tender, the minister, and you get a road which after one rainfall disappears. That suits the minister because next year he again puts out a tender for repair of the road. So the thing goes on like that. Or they will do something like Ram Setu, which was the most idiotic project ever conceived, where they decide to dig a canal on the seabed. Now, the seabed, the geologists want should not be deeper than 11 meters. And otherwise it will hit some of the soft parts of the earth and there will be a huge explosion. So 11 meters deep means no ship which has a tonnage more than 30,000 can go through that. So what will happen? How many ships are there in the world which are tonnage of 30,000 and less? 5%. 95% today are over 1 lakh tons. So only for 5% of the ships you are going to construct this underwater canal. And the only company I know which had large number of ships which were having less than 30,000 tonnage was T.R. Balu, the shipping minister's son. He had a company where all its ships were less than 30,000. So obviously it was meant to facilitate his son and at the cost of Ram Setu. Furthermore, because the canal was under the water, you needed a pilot ship to take another ship through. And it was not broad enough for two ships. That is, one ship goes this way, then another ship can't come at the same time this way. Ill-conceived project. And furthermore, the ocean waves were going to deposit sand over and over again. So that the canal is not covered up, you have to dredge every week the sand out. And that meant a contract of 1,000 crores a year. And it was awarded to the other son, because T.R. Balu has two wives, so he has a son by each wife. His other son got the contract, which means he was going to get 1,000 crores guaranteed for the rest of his life if this project had gone through. Fortunately, when the Supreme Court got it stopped, now all that remains is that I want the Supreme Court to declare Ram Setu as a national monument so that the state will look after it, preserve it, and allow for pilgrims to come and go and make arrangements for it. So this is one aspect. Second aspect is this black money is spent on what? It is not for building assets. It is spent on luxury goods. It is spent on land. That is why land prices in India will keep on growing even if the economy is nosediving. Land prices will keep on growing in India. Property market never affected in India. because black money is going into it and it's becoming so expensive that it's impossible to get a flat for 20 lakhs in Bombay today. This is because the money that is being put in through the black money. So your property market is, hitting the sky, and that's a distortion because property should be so expensive as it's in India. Not only that, they buy all kinds of luxury goods and build houses which are palatial with all kinds of marbles, etc. So the net result is that the rate of return on investment in luxury goods is much higher than the rate of return on goods which serve the common man, like cloth, and things like that. So today we find in India our investment priorities have been so distorted that 70% of our investment is going directly or indirectly for the luxury goods sector. And a poor country in sense that you have more than 25% of population below the poverty line, to have 70% of the investment going for the luxury goods sector. This is a total distortion. Then agriculture, the agricultural products prices fluctuate widely because this cash is used for forward trading by industrialists. Today Reliance or any of these SR and so on, they go to the wholesale market when the produce comes, buy it, put it in cold storage, artificial shortages created, the agriculture prices shoot up, and then they sell, and then it comes down, then goes up again. There's to a Malaysian entrepreneur called Anand Krishnan, who was running a company called Maxis, and it was a totally illegal deal. And as a consequence, we found that a company which has links with the LTT was able to penetrate our country. Earlier when the 2G licenses were given, many of the companies who got the licenses sold it to foreign companies. Swan Telecom, which was not even a telecom company, was a real estate company. That company sold its license to Etisalat, and Etisalat's board of directors full of Pakistanis. His workforce is Pakistani. And if they were going to set up towers around the country, it will be the Pakistanis who will be coming and setting it up. And that means free access to ISI people in disguise. So I had gone to court and wanted the licenses to be cancelled. And the first time in the history of India, awarded licenses, all 122 of them were cancelled in one go. And then people started being sent to jail for what is called as custodial interrogation. Now, of course, custodial interrogation is over, so many of them are out in bail. But they will go back once they are convicted. That could happen at the end of this year. Raja went to jail after I filed a private complaint. People don't know that private citizens can file a complaint and can be appointed as prosecutors also. I filed a complaint before the CBI filed its complaint. I went and filed a complaint in the trial court saying that I want to prosecute Raja. And the court took the complaint, then I said, I must prosecute the case. So the court said, how can you prosecute? You're not a lawyer. You're not even if you're a lawyer, you're not in the list of those who are designated by government to be appointed as prosecutors. Public prosecutors are public officials and they have to be recommended by the government. How can you appoint him? I told him that's true for murder and other things. But under the Prevention of Corruption Act, the person who files the private complaint, he can be, if the court thinks fit, appointed as a public prosecutor. So he said, show me where it says. So I read out section 5, which said that. And the judge said, I never knew this. Nobody has ever pointed it out. So those who say we need new laws, they have not read the laws. Our laws are sufficient. Just got to get it implemented. So I was appointed. No sooner I was appointed, there was panic in Sonia Gandhi's camp. So they got the CBI to go and file a parallel complaint. So that suited me. I said, let CBI do its work. If they err here or there, then I will move in my petition. So Mr. Raja, on my petition, went to jail. Then Kannimuri went to jail. Maran now is on the way to jail. Chidambaram, I've been trying very hard to send him to jail. I will not let him go. He's in this Aircel Maxis, he is caught. So you may end up in July, you may hear about it. In the 2G one, I'm afraid to say, I must say to you that I don't think the judges were fair to me. Probably the judges thought that if they accept my prayer to make Subramanian an accused, then the government may fall. And maybe they didn't want destabilization and being accused of that. After the judge in Allahabad High Court found Indira Gandhi guilty and unseated her from Parliament, the emergency was declared, and for a long time people were blaming the judiciary for causing this crisis. So maybe the judiciary won, but that process is not over. I have a right to go back to the court and say, please, you made a mistake. They had made a mistake because they gave me a judgment on a thing I did not argue and did not say a word about what I argued. So that was what they said I did not argue was that I did not prove that Chidambaram had taken a bribe. Whereas I had gone another section to the judges, namely the section which says that if you, sitting in a public office, adopt a policy which benefits somebody, and that is not in the public interest, then you are as guilty as if you have taken a bribe. So I had already proved that it was not in public interest because the licenses got cancelled. So Chidambaram should have been declared as an accused and prosecuted, but the judges deliberately said that I did not prove, I think deliberately, that I had not proved that he had taken a bribe, when I had no intention of proving that he had taken a bribe. I had an intention to catch him on something else. And sometimes we have to do that. In this country they could not catch Al Capone on murder. You know what they caught him on? Income tax. And put him in jail. That was good enough. They put so many income tax cases against him that ultimately he had to go for 32 years to jail. And he died in jail. So, therefore, I used that thing. And I'm back to the Supreme Court in July to say, please cure your petition, your judgment, because you have made an error in judgment. I think now that the elections are coming close, the judges are likely to be sympathetic, and Mr. Chidambaram will also go to jail. And in Aircel Maxis, there is already an investigation launched, and in July we will find out whether Mr. Chidambaram has to be sent. So I have created such a scare that the other day before leaving for America, I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister that this Jet Air Etihad deal stinks of corruption. And I now find that the government has deferred the approval of that project. So one letter can do this. That is the power today of our system. So, of course, there are problems there. I've told audiences many places that the TR jail, Subramanian has complained to a friend of mine that please tell Swamy not to send so many Madrasis to jail. Raja, Kannimuri, Maran, Chidambaram. So he said that all these people come and they want masala dosa, and the TR jail bawarchi. The TR jail bawarchi only knows aloo puri. So there's a problem. I said, tell your TR jail, I told my friend, you tell him that you better train his bawarchi, because soon somebody is going to come demanding spaghetti and ravioli. So, this is one very serious trend which is affecting our country. It is sub-optimizing our allocation of resources, and we have to fight it. We can fight it if we catch big people starting into jail. And I would also say that this new trend in India, where money is becoming everything, this is not inconsistent with our Sanatan Dharma. We are not against material progress in Hinduism. We are only against one-dimensional pursuit of materialism. And that is why our sages have said that you should make material progress but you also have spiritual advancement. Money is not the determinant of social status in India. In fact, it doesn't matter what kind of clothes you wear. I remember when I came as a student to Harvard, first question one my American classmate asked me, how can you all accept Mahatma Gandhi as your leader? I said, why? He said, because he is not properly dressed. So how can you make him his leader? I said, in your country he has to be properly dressed. He said, of course. Otherwise we will not vote for him. He must be in the best suit, he must have lovely shining shoes. In fact, he said that Nixon lost his debate to Kennedy because he didn't shave that day. On that ground, he said he lost the election. So the same way, or say lost the debate. The same way you see our religious leaders also. They reached the height of, they are regarded as saintly people. But there was only one Bhagavad. You see the Pope, he's in satin gown, he's got ruby necklace, diamond necklace, sapphire necklace, his topi also has so much jewels. You see the Mufti in Makkah. Our sadhus, you see, whether it is Swami Dayanand Saraswati or Sri Ravi Shankar or Baba Ramdev, how do they dress? The most simplest of the cloth. And yet we venerate them. That was our system. That money is not the determinant. The person's knowledge, his sacrifice, these things are placed much higher. But slowly we have now gone into this one-dimensional mode. Make more money. The more money you have, the more social status you have. This is driving corruption. This is the main thing which is driving corruption in our country. And we have to change that. And you're not going to be happy if you just go on making money. Because otherwise, why do you explain all these foreigners, particularly rich Americans coming to our sannyasis and going to our ashrams, wanting to find out how to be happy? Even that Hollywood actress, what's her name, Julia Roberts, she came and she told the head of that ashram that I have won every Oscar, I have millions of dollars in my bank account, but I am not happy. And then when he taught her how to be happy, she went back and converted to Hinduism along with the entire family. And you find that now in large numbers, even that man that Apple, Stephen Jobs, he was a vagabond till he came to the ashram in Varanasi. And they went back and he was transformed. So this message must now go back. I went to the IIM and addressed the students, and afterwards I asked them, why have you come after all this stiff examination? What are you going to get? They said, get a good job. I said, you mean you're not coming for marketing theory, learning finance theory, or organization theory, or economics, but you come to so they can get a good job? 99% of the class said to me, yes, we are only here in Ahmedabad, I am in Ahmedabad, because once we get the chop, we'll get a job. We'll even get a job before we graduate. This is a very wrong attitude which is not going to make us happy, and it certainly will propel greed. Greed will propel corruption. So long-term solution to corruption is we must go back to the Sanatan values of having enough, and if you have more than enough, then give donation, be philanthropic. Only then you will be placed in the social hierarchy of society. So this is one trend which we have. It's a dangerous trend. We have to fight it, and we must ensure that the new government that comes to power will fight corruption in a serious way. The second dangerous development or trend is this infiltration, conversion, terrorism. This is rocking our society, and it is entirely because there is support from the political elements to these things. Infiltration is because the Congress party thinks that these people all be our voters, so let them come. Sonia Gandhi herself tells her colleagues, if all the Muslims vote for us, that is 14%. and Christians are 3%, so 17%. Then scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, liberal Hindus, those who can be purchased, all will go to 30%. And with 30% we'll get 160 seats in parliament and nobody can form a government without us. Either we'll form the government or we'll have a third front government supported, which we will support from outside. So this is the mentality which is there, that you can do anything to country for your vote back is safe. And this infiltration is taking place. Conversion, Christian conversion is taking place in a big way in our country because again it is being supported by Sonia. Terrorism within our country, you know that in Chhattisgarh this time, everybody, the NIA has found from phone records that it was the Congress party which changed the route plan of those Congress people who went on the thing. And the reason was that the president of the Congress party was the founder or the inventor of this Salva Judum thing of arming the peasantry or the tribals to kill the terrorists. And so Sonia Gandhi wanted to sacrifice it because that was the demand of the Maoists, that they will help you in the elections if this man is sacrificed. This is something which this government will never allow us to prove, but I am sure that it will be there. Same thing with the LTT also. A lot of support from Congress party. I am not saying this. I was, that time when Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated, I was the minister, law minister. I had law portfolio with me. I appointed a commission headed by Justice J.S. Verma on the security failure. And his report, which is now collecting dust, says that the security arrangements made for Rajiv Gandhi were perfect, but they were deliberately disrupted by Congress, and this should be further investigated. That report was put under the carpet by the successor Narasimha Rao government because of pressure from Sonia Gandhi, and they set up another circus called Jain Commission, which ultimately came to nothing. So all these developments are dangerous because there is political involvement, and we have to make sure that these terrorists do not get their way. And you have to take a tough stand. I went to Kashmir on 22nd of May. I have a party unit there. BJP does not have a party unit in Srinagar, but Janata Party has. They are 100% Muslims. All Muslims who say Kashmir is a part of India. They are even in our party function, it was started with the song of Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara. And I went and addressed a meeting in Lal Chowk where all the terrorists live. And there I announced that no, Kashmir we will never part with. Every inch of Kashmir is ours. The pressman asked me, what about Jawaharlal Nehuru's promise of holding a website? I said, don't ask Jawaharlal Nehru. So they said, why? You are not bound by what the previous government decided. I said, no, it's not previous government. I, as a minister, investigated when I was a minister terrorists to help them in the election. I know one politician in Jharkhand, he comes to parliament because he pays money to the Naxalites. So this kind of trend comes, then we have had it, our country will be broken up. The third thing is that what I've already spoken to you about, this globalization is creating a new crass materialistic culture. We must make material progress, we must become developed countries in the world, but we are doing it in a way by which this whole society might be disintegrated. We cannot imitate what has happened in the West. We must see that our value system remains intact while we are making material progress. That's why spiritual advancement is concerned. These three trends, in my opinion, are very dangerous for the country. They will undo the society. But there are some positive trends also. Thanks to the Indian people who in the emergency opposed Jabardasti in family planning, today we are the youngest population on the average. The average age of an Indian is 28. Average age of a Chinese is 37, because they adopted that one child per family thing. Average age of an American is 38. Average age of a European is 48. average age of a Japanese is 50. These are old populations. Economic growth is always accelerated by innovations. Like railways came, industrial revolution. Then jet engines came, the American economy pulled up. Internet came, American came out of a crisis and they now came to the top. So innovations are very important, but innovations are done by young people. They come out of universities, join the research team. So we have this potential. All these other people are losing this young population. It's getting fewer and fewer in percentage terms. So India must educate its demographic dividend, its young population. And today these new projects are coming up of online education. We must reach it to the villages, and our people must. Our young people have demonstrated here. They have all got your spelling bee, Indianism top. You find all the classes anywhere I talk to the teachers, they say, oh, Indians are very, very bright. So our native intelligence nobody can doubt, but it needs to be flowered. It needs to be needs to be fine-honed, you see, and for that we need a good educational system. The present education system is totally out of date. We need people to learn to take risks. Indians don't like risk. In my class at Harvard, when we had people from many countries, including India, at the end of the class I used to ask them, now that you are going to get a degree, what kind of job are you going to search? What kind of profession you are going to go? Either you can take, I said, a project which is risky and you may become a billionaire like Microsoft man became, Bill Gates, or you can fall on your face, lose everything and be on the street. This is one kind of job. Another job is you join, your salary will increase every year by 5% and your provident fund will be accumulating, and at the age of 65 you will retire, you get your provident fund pension, and then you watch television or you go to the city park and feed the birds. Which kind of Americans would ask me, what is the probability I'll fall flat? And you tell me the probability of falling flat on my face and losing everything, then I will tell you which project which job I would prefer. But the 99% of the Indians would say, no, we like the second job. I said, why second job? That is guaranteed poverty. They said, but it is guaranteed. That is the point. So this Indian search for stability. You need a mind change of that. You must learn to take risk. Here the children all will be going on saying, why? Parents say anything there. In India, if a child says, why, you'll get a slap. So we do not encourage questioning mind. We don't encourage taking risk. We need a new Indian who is dynamic, who takes a risk and is willing to understand that he can lose it. So this is one aspect where we have to do a lot. And now thanks to online education, we can really give quality education to our people. So this is one favorable potential which we need to develop. And finally, we now have a deepening democracy in our country, and that means participation. We must now more and more encourage people to enter politics. For these last 60, 70 years, we have created an atmosphere that joining politics is dirty. Only hoodlums, gundas come. And they created a vacuum, and gundas and badmashes have all come into politics. We need a revolt movement, and people must join. There are various ways of joining. You don't have to contest election. You can be part of a campaign, you can be part of a party, you can raise issues. And in many ways, all this can be done. But I think we need now fresh blood induction into Indian politics, because we are really lacking. Look at this country, so many educated people end up in politics. Even George Bush, who was thought to be an idiot, he had an MBA from Harvard. And Obama, he was on top of his class in law. But in India, you find this very few. In fact, when I joined, people said, "You're mad, you left Harvard and came. This is not meant for you, this is meant for crooks and thieves and thugs." Nobody encouraged me. So here, we must learn from here, and this is also our tradition. Ramayana and Mahabharata are both political tales, you see. It's all about politics. So we have to therefore create a new mindset to encourage people to do politics. Now, question is, how this can be all set right? I think therefore now we have reached a crossroads in that sense, or rather a T-junction. Either we bring back people like we brought back earlier to power, you will go straight down, you will be on a tailspin down to a crash. Or you bring a new set of people. There is now a hope based on what you see is the difference in development in Gujarat. And therefore Modi's name has come up. And Modi will be most probably the face of the campaign at the NDA. He is already chairman of the campaign committee, which means every candidate will be obliged to it. So even if you tomorrow say, no, MPs will come, get elected and come and vote, I can tell you they all come and vote for Modi because he would have helped them in the campaign. So I would say very clearly, if the NDA gets majority, he will be the Prime Minister of this country, and we'll have a new team, and we hope that all these things that I pointed out to you, we will do differently. What I like about Modi is that he is the only BJP leader whom Sonia Gandhi doesn't like. There's something in that, because last time the NDA was in power, they were very lenient with Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi was caught here in Boston. It was the NDA government which called up George Bush's government and said, please leave him, it's good for US relations if you do not prosecute him. Same thing on Sonia Gandhi's KGB and antique smuggling. She stole all the murtis from prominent temples and went and auctioned it in London. But again, the Indian government was soft on that. We need now, I don't call this her anymore Sonia Gandhi, I call her Taraka. You see, in Ramayana, I don't know how you pronounce it, Taraka or Taraka? Taraka. Earlier on I called her Vishkanya, but now she's grown up to Taraka. So, she has to be brought to book. She has got 100,000 crores in foreign bank accounts. Came from a completely poor family. How you can get 100,000 crores? And everything about her a lie. Her real name is not Sonia, it is Antonia. Even her education, she has not passed 5th class, but she said, what? I educated in the University of Cambridge and got an English degree. She put in an affidavit. I went to Cambridge to give a lecture, the Cambridge University gave me a letter that there is no such student. So I went and gave it to the speaker and said, you ask her an explanation because it's in Lok Sabha, who's who. Her name is that she's got degree in Cambridge. So she replied saying it was a typing mistake. The speaker said, "Aap kya karna hai?" I said, you send it to the Guinness Book of World Record for the longest typing mistake in history. The typing mistake can be comma, full stop, not a whole sentence. Studied in the University of Cambridge and got a degree in English. So this is the kind of thing, she won't even tell you the truth about herself. What was she doing in London from 1963 to 1968? She married Rajiv Gandhi in 1968. Does anybody know? No. I know, but I'm too ashamed to tell you. So, therefore, here a person whose background you don't know, who's connected with the Opus Dei, who's connected with the Catholic Church, the Pope, the Vatican, and wants to openly, support missionaries who want to convert in India. She nearly did it to Vaisar, that is Vais Reddy in Andhra. So all this put together, is that her trying to sabotage the...
Sonia Gandhi doing
Okay. So this is simple. I knew that she was losing influence. So I am saying to you today some of the things that you could do. People ask me, what can we do? You can't give money because political parties cannot receive money. I am however of the view that we should now think in long term. This election, I think, will win easily. But we should now think of creating new types of politicians. And for that we need a institute which trains politicians who know all the, they should have a regular course, maybe 6 months course. You want to be a politician, take this course. People will pay, but you need the infrastructure. So all of you in this country could band together. If you raise 20 crores, you can have a very good institute. Like here, you have think tanks all over. We need an institute for training politicians. There are many other things you can do, but it's much tougher. Previous visit, everybody convinced me I should start a TV station. And I started one. I got permission from the government, everything clear, and it was called Krishna TV. But then I found that all those who promised me money didn't deliver. Because in India people were afraid, oh, it's your TV station, then Sonia Gandhi will find out and we'll be in trouble. So take it in cash. I said, I can't take it in cash because then how will I show the expenditure? You see? So that project fell through. But today I am saying to you, after the new government has come, one of the things the NRIs can do is set up an institute in India which trains politicians. And you can have a unit here so that they can get some international exposure also by coming and saying and completing, come here for 1 week or 2 weeks and learn something here. So this is one thing you can do. Second thing you can do, if you want to help the elections, Rahul Gandhi studied in Rollins College in Winter Park near Orlando. He must have paid tuition fees. How did he pay? He must have submitted a passport also. So you can always hire a private detective and find out where he paid the money from. I can tell you just now where he paid it, but I have no documentation. Paid it from Cayman Islands through Bank of America. But the university would have the record. They will not give it to me if I ask it officially because that's what they consider for I don't know what reason confidential. Unless they say you file a criminal case in India, then we can give it to you. But I can't find, it's a chicken and egg question, I can't file a criminal case unless I have documents. And I can't get documents unless there's a criminal case. This is something you can do. Yesterday there was a news item, I don't know how many of you saw, that a company, American US company, has written to the FBI saying that we were defrauded of $1.1 million by Jagdish Titler. And that Jagdish Titler took this money saying that Ms. Sonia Gandhi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi are part of this project that we are asking $1.1 million. Now, any of you can easily get this. Somehow access the FBI, find out what this case is about. This new item is going around in the in the Twitter and in the thing, you should be able to do it.
Continuously enlighten us since Bharat Awareness Forum is ensuring this forum is making us aware, otherwise beware. So we want to be informed, we want to be educated on the issues that's being faced by India and how we can contribute. And talking about recognition and contribution of young people, very important. We want to recognize this young person. He's 32, he's an IT professional. He came from Himachal Pradesh 12 years ago, and he ensured that he mobilized these young people in this part of the world. And that young man, his name is Swadesh Katur. Please don't worry. If you look at all the young people around the tables, he ensures that for Seva, they are always here. We need few good men like him. Few. Because all it takes is few good men to change the society. As Swami Vivekananda says, it's not the inactivity of the good people. That is what makes a society fall. So we want these good people to make sure they're actively involved. So hope we can continue this. The next person we want to recognize, unfortunately he couldn't be here, but he has helped us tremendously with his reporting fair, particularly for our society. His name is Mahadev Desai, and in absentia, I'll ask Dhirubhai to ensure that he gets this little... Oh, you're here, wonderful, please do come.
I'm taking them.
Oh, please do. On behalf of Dhirubhai, and I'm sure Mahadev Desai. We want to continue and still stay on time, so I will ask our Basantji, the moderator, to come on the stage so that both me and Dhirubhai we can go off. And we'll continue to have lunch. If you can quietly, few tables at a time, go at the back and have lunch while this question and answer session continues, so that we still have something to feed us, and he'll continue to feed us with our minds.
Namaste. According to the program, which you may have in front of you, I need to do this. Look at it. The question and answer period goes to 1:20 p.m. However, Dr. Swamy needs to eat before he leaves, so we're going to stop at 1 p.m. Is that okay, Dr. Swamy? Okay. So that's a lot of time. That's 35 minutes. Is going to be affected by several organizations and individuals. In the individuals, they are worried about the statements made by L.K. Advani and Nitish Kumar. In terms of parties, it's Aam Aadmi Party, of course Kejriwal and what he's doing. Also, Baba Ramdev movement has affected the society and is going to affect the elections. So, Dr. Swamy, this is
First of all, as far as the India is concerned, there are 7 parties. BJP, JDU, Shiv Sena, Akali Dal, Janata Party. Then there is a Northeast People's Party, also Mr. Sangma, and one Republican Party which originally Ambedkar founded but now broken into several parts. So one of the parts held by Ramdas Athawale. These are the 7 parties. Now, as far as Modi's question is concerned, 6 of them have no problem at all. It's only JDU which is making the noise. But I will say today that JDU is the beneficiary of this alliance. And if it leaves, the beneficiary would be the BJP. Because in Bihar, what we found in this recent by-election for parliament in Maharajganj, which Nitish lost, there was a sharp contrast between what happened in Gujarat in the by-elections and what happened in Bihar in one by-election. In Gujarat there were 6 by-elections, 2 parliament, 4 assembly. And Modi did not visit any of those places. And yet he won all 6, and all 6 were originally held by Congress party. So that was a clean sweep, a clean indication. In the case of Bihar, Nitish campaigned there, camped there, and yet they lost it. And it turns out that certain caste groups, upper caste like Bhumiyas, are so annoyed with him that they went and campaigned for the opposition candidate, which was Lalu Yadav's. And he was defeated. So we find that his contribution is now under attack, in fact. His public popularity is doubtful. And if he leaves the NDA, it will be a suicide. And so I don't see any need for anybody to worry about the noise that he will make about Modi. As far as inside the BJP is concerned, when the chips are down, they all fall in line. Advani was taking a stand, hard stand, etc. Said that, everything is going wrong, the style of functioning, party is wrong, etc. And then the RSS chief, Mohan Bhagwat, called him up and he said he's taking back his resignation. In the BJP, no leader has a faction. Congress party or other parties, leaders have factions. So one leader leaves, the faction also leaves. But in BJP, the workers are all owing loyalty to this RSS. And therefore, if RSS decides on one direction, others cannot do, they can make noises and all that, but they cannot affect the BJP. And that is why I think we should not worry about any one leader or 2 leaders or 3 leaders making anything, because RSS provides the workers, and if they don't provide the workers, you will be zero. I also want to draw your attention to what happened in Karnataka. In Karnataka, the BJP vote declined 14%. Yediyurappa got 9%. The remaining 5% went to different parties, of which 3% went to Devagowda's party of Janata Dal, secular, different from Janata Dal Youth. In other words, the Congress party did not gain from the loss of reputation of BJP. It was the other parties which gained. So the atmosphere against Congress is so strong that even in a situation like Karnataka, people did not increase their vote to Congress, and Congress won because there was a vote division of the BJP vote, and not because Congress popularity increased and therefore they won. So I would not worry too much about these things. I would far more worry about some foul methods used by Sonia Gandhi. Till this Intelligence Bureau chief, Mr. Ibrahim, first time Muslim, he took the stand that I will not allow my officer to be subject to police questioning because this will create a new trend, and that Israt Jahan was actually a Lashkar-e-Toiba lady who was killed because she was trying to flee in a car with other people. What Sonia Gandhi was trying to do is to say, get it to be said that Modi ordered her killing and she was an innocent woman. And therefore Modi should be prosecuted, therefore for interrogating him, he should be taken into jail. That was the game plan. When he went to jail, God knows, because this woman is, she's got the KGB background. She might stick an injection into him and, try to finish him off. So therefore, we were a little concerned. But now that is fallen through. So those are the kind of things that we need to worry about. Not now will other parties come? It depends on the campaign. If our campaign is based on not only fighting corruption and carrying conviction with people, yes, we should not be ourselves corrupt and talk about corruption. Then nobody will believe us. So the leaders projected should be such about whom there is no doubt, not only Modi but other leaders, the team should be so projected that there is no doubt that these people, if they say they will fight corruption, they can fight corruption. That is one. And two, Hindutva, where you make people rise above their community, language, state and vote as Hindus. Out of 80%, if half, only 40% Hindus decide to vote as one, as a party which will defend the Hindu interest, you will get more than absolute majority. Very comfortable absolute majority. Already BJP has 28% of the vote. It's a 12% vote for petition. So let Sonia Gandhi do anything to consolidate the Muslim vote, but the Hindus consolidate, then there is no answer. And therefore I think you should not at all be worried that what is going to happen. You should know that we are well set now, and certainly I think the possibility of either 250 or 14 or earlier elections, you are going to see an NDA government.
Before I announce more questions, I had a very good announcement to make. And this is about if the idea of the political institute materializes as heard from you, I will join and pledge rupees 5 lakhs and will deliver the money by check. So please stand up and I request you to put up the card because it doesn't have a name here. Okay?
Who has done that? Is $5 lakh or 5 lakh?
Rupees 5 lakhs. Yeah, okay. So your name please? Murthy.
I will take a rain check on that.
Okay, now, a couple of, I want to get rid of Sonia's questions about Sonia. You've already said a lot about her. This is one in Hindi.
Directs us to always remember 3 energies. And when it is time for acknowledgements and thanks, I need to invoke those 3 energies. One of them is the energy, the Prana Pradata. We believe in Sarvadarshi, Sarvavyapi, Sarvaspashi. Pranams to the Almighty, all-pervasive God, which gives us the prana and all the energy. The second one is the Artha Pradata. Pranams to our motherland, Bharat Mata, Yoga Bhumi, Dharma Bhumi, Veda Bhumi, who has been giving the energy for millennia to not just Indians, to the entire world and to the entire creation. So I want to say 2 lines in prayer to my motherland. Namaste Sada Vatsale Matrubhume Vaya Hindu Bhume Sukham Vardhitoham. The third one is the Gnana Pradata. We always remember our gurus, people who gave us the knowledge. Guru stands for Gu meaning the darkness, Ru meaning the light. Anybody who brings the lightness wherever there is darkness is considered revered and respectable for us. Today we see a Guru right here. Guru need not be in saffron clothes. Guru is somebody who brings the light. Thank you, Dr. Swamy. He's not just a guru, he's a warrior. I see the same passion like Veer Savarkar in him, who is fighting for the past 35 to 40 years, maybe longer, correct me if I'm wrong. But the point is, not just with his knowledge, with his passion to help us all. So we are very, very fortunate to have Dr. Swamy. Our sincere thanks for taking time and talking to us. So with that regard, for any guru, we give the Guru Dakshina. So one Guru Dakshina I'm going to ask you all is like for his support. Whatever he told us, I'm going to just give a review of what he said so that we all remember, not forget tomorrow and get back to our regular work and forget that Dr. Swamy was here with a message and we forgot his message. So even if we forget today's event, we must receive the message and continue with that. So the message was the three problems that he pointed out. The corruption he defined as a 1.5 trillion, and then the halo effect from that corruption that is percolating into our society, degrading our society. That was the first negative problem he told us. The second problem was the conversions, infiltration and the terrorism coming from external sources. We need to remember that. The third one is the globalization, which is attacking on our Dharma. So those are the three negative things. But the two positive things, or few positive things that he mentioned, what we need to work on is the native intelligence we have, no other country is anywhere close to us. We need to build on our strengths. We need to strengthen our weaknesses. The second one is the deepening democracy that we have. That is our strength. So those are the positive things that we need to work on. And then obviously, the few other things that we can do, not just by coming over and campaigning, we still can go, but the more important, what we can do is with our intelligence. Provide that intelligence to the people who are working on our behalf to protect our Dharma, to make sure that India is still existent even hundreds and thousands of years later. So again, with that message, I want to make sure by reviewing it, we'll all get some capsulated message. That's why I'm taking time to reiterate that. Thank you, Guruji.
As long as you don't call me Swami.
Swami. Thank you. And again, so coming back to our program here, there are so many people who make this happen. It's a wonderful program, got us motivated, energized, and there are so many hands that came together to make this happen. Our special thanks to our special thanks to Sri Ashwin Patelji, who arranged a wonderful dinner yesterday for more than 70 families. It was wonderful. Thank you, Ashwin Bhai. Please stand recognized. Ashwin Bhai. Sri Shiva Agarwal is always our force behind our efforts. Sri Agarwal ji, please stand recognized. Taste of India restaurant. Is there anybody representing Taste of India here, please? Please stand up. Otherwise, they are here. Thank you. Dr. Srini Gangasani from Women Health Specialist. Sri Naresh Jugalji. Sri Jugalji. Thank you. And audio video support was by Sri Sandeep Savla. Savlaji, are you here? And the printing support was from Sri Sanjay Pandyaji.
You are ready?
Yeah.
You are saying that any possibility for voting yes, without getting a good number of seats from further side. How will you vote?
Well, the Janata Party in 1977 got no seats in South India. And it got so many seats in North India that we need a big. So it's not necessary that you should get a large number of seats. But we don't know what will happen if they fight against corruption, development, youth actually even South India may look good.
What about the federal flag proposal to
They are waste of time.
And one more thing about Telangana.
Telangana is going to, I am 100% back.
But are you have a smaller states or
Yes.
have you studied Telangana issue?
No, I've studied both. Telangana was promised in 19